that you'll be
Sure.
I believe that you'll be meeting with several Indonesian ministry as well as several Indonesian companies. I wonder what are the possible area of cooperation between Duco Digital Training and Indonesia? Perhaps like you can start with that.
Yeah, but I'll give you a real example. Last year we worked with the Indonesian ministry. We trained 5 Indonesian university lecturers in AI. They came to the UK last November. And then we trained them in AI, and now they've been using that to move on into their PhDs, and then also using that knowledge to pass it on to their students as part of their university training program. So then that knowledge will then benefit other students going through the university. We've heard today from the Dowling Institute about the importance of upskilling the workforce as being part of AI readiness. So that's another massive area that's going to be really beneficial for Indonesia, is just to help other people have the same opportunities to get into that sector space.
Yeah, we typically find that if you're already working in AI, if you're an AI software developer, you already know everything that you need to know. But a lot of us don't have that knowledge or experience, so the qualifications that we're offering introduce the basics of AI, so will help you to understand what the importance of data protection, how AI works. If one of your companies is purchasing an off-the-shelf product, which product should you be buying? How will that impact your business? Making sure that any choices you make are good for your business, ethically and morally as well.
I think you are the only, maybe now, the only company who certified people with AI certification, and you offer also various courses related with AI. What's the most popular course so far in your experience? People get it, and why?
Okay, we sell like an advanced course in AI, so that's understanding what AI is and generally how AI works. But a very fast moving topic is AI ethics. So ethical AI is really big because ChatGPT is obviously new this year, and there's been lots of debate in the media and in different sectors, particularly like education, where it's been questioned about its use, and also about the security and the privacy of the data, which has then raised lots of ethical concerns about whether it can be trusted or not. I mean, just to give you an example, we heard yesterday that some governments have actually banned the use of ChatGPT. I don't know if that exists here in Indonesia, but in the UK it has been banned by the government for use. So as time goes on, there'll be more questions about the ethical use of AI, and we heard today where a lot of people will just buy off-the-shelf products like AI products and apps to use in their organisations and businesses, but they may not know the implications or the ethical implications of using that product. So for example, if they buy a cheap product but then later fail to understand then if they paid a little bit more, they may have had additional like security features. So what we're trying to do is help empower people and organisations to ask the right questions, and that also includes working with contractors and third parties when they may be working on IT projects and AI projects. So to give you an example, if you're the owner of an organisation or a business and you're not an expert in IT, you trust the other person to do everything for you, and you think, well, they'll do all the right things, but they may not necessarily do the right thing. So it's important that you know the essential information to ask them and check that the product has been developed safely, securely, and it's right for your business.
So returning to your original question, typically our most popular courses at the moment are AI Foundation, but also the ethical use of AI. And within both of those courses, it introduces the concepts of the main features of AI, how to use it, what to look for when purchasing it, what are the risks to the business, and how to use it to benefit the company as well.
So the literacy is more important in this case, and this is also regarding the safety of a user.
Yes.
So from what you have been observed so far, how dangerous is it when people are still illiterate to AI in general, if we may say?
I think it depends on which level that you're sort of thinking about. I think that for the everyday user, maybe the level of like severity of a threat is fairly low. But if you think about social media, you know, about people maybe posting things like images on social media, and they're thinking that they can say whatever they want, and then later finding out that's not the case. That's, if you think about AI in the same sense, then potentially what you think is quite harmless later on that could then have like massive problems. I think one of the biggest things that people are perhaps unaware of at the moment is that with AI, the power of AI, organisations will be able to use lots of different data sets to bring them together, then to make decisions. So to give you, this is just an example, so it's not really true, but just an example. So if you think of an insurance company, then if they can get data, say from a driverless car, they can assess then how you're driving the car, then they can maybe able to assess your health from the doctor, and then be able to assess you as a person. Then they'll create a price for your insurance based on all of that data, whereas at the moment they can only do it just on your initial application. So if the power or the danger is more about kind of what's yet to come. From the level of organisations, there is a much higher threat because it's about data security and data privacy. So we've heard a lot today about that a lot of organisations, it's not permissible in many organisations to allow data flows to leave the organisation, but we're starting to see lots of examples where that still happens, and there's lots of cyber threats and cybersecurity problems, which is globally, you know, Indonesia is no different. But with AI, then the power is much more, is magnified, which is much higher, because if you think then, if you're trying to hack into an organisation using AI software, then stealing data and then being able to use it for purposes that it's not permitted for, then the threats can be more magnified, because they'll be able to do it a lot quicker, and they'll be able to use it in lots of different ways.
And that's why the courses that we offer are so important, because a lot of middle managers will not have any experience of data science or AI, so the courses that we offer introduce the types of questions the managers should be asking when they go to the software developers or they go to buy something off the shelf. They understand what to ask to make sure their company is protected and their data is protected.
And the other thing just to mention is it's just about sort of data quality as well. So making sure that companies understand or ask the right questions about how to constantly monitor and check the quality of the data going into the AI software, and then testing, and then assessing then the results as well. And again, if you're not savvy about AI, then you wouldn't know to ask those questions. So that's why it's really important for all, like, and just to go on a bit further than that, the consequences to that organisation, let's just say if it's a finance company, then it could be that a lot of people making applications for loans or credit cards may get declined, or they may get approved for things they shouldn't get approved for. It depends on the sector that you work in, but there are much larger consequences for organisations not understanding AI.
And within the courses, we teach how to mitigate those threats to the business as well, so how to safeguard the business. And one of the important things is that is encouraged for each business is to have an AI board.
Yes, yeah, it's really important that if you're working on a large AI project, that's something the Alan Turing Institute support, is the fact that you should have like an AI group or an AI board or committee to making sure that you understanding to ask the right questions. Even in a smaller organisation, if you're developing an AI project, you need to have some checks and balances, somebody asking the right questions, asking ethical questions, so you're not introducing too many biases earlier on into the actual product. That's really, really important.
In any means, do you mind to explain the characteristic of your clients so far?
Yeah, of course. So obviously we work with government, so we worked with the Indonesian ministry last year. We've worked with the Saudi Arabian Ministry of Education, and then we work with medium to large corporations in the UK and different countries around the world. We do a lot of work in Europe as well.
And importantly, we work with a lot of just ordinary individuals. We find a lot of older people, such as ourselves, who weren't trained in AI at school. This is brand new to us as well. So there's a lot of older people, older generations that are looking to upskill. So they're investing in their career, in their future, and part of the courses includes teacher support, learner support, and that way they can then get an accredited qualification to then jumpstart their career and get a promotion at work.
If you may suggest, what should ordinary people around the globe should master regarding
I think it's just
development?
an awareness of what AI is. So typically most of us won't work in AI. We won't be developing AI systems, but we all know what ChatGPT is, and we will be using AI within everyday business. So qualifications such as this just help us to understand what AI is, how to use it, when not to use it, and just give us the vocabulary to talk about it within the workplace. And sometimes just having that knowledge gives us the confidence to go to our manager and say, I found this new system, could we introduce this at work? Or might give us the confidence to say, I'd like that promotion, I'd like to go for that promotion at work.
Yeah.
So ordinary people can join your course for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of move on from what you were saying, that if you're working on maybe a startup business or starting to work for yourself, then using AI, there's loads of fantastic AI software and solutions out there. So if you can understand what that software is and the kind of the ethics and that behind some of the decisions and choices, then you can build a very, very lean, cheap company, but then can scale it very, very quickly. So some of the organisations which are quite famous here in Indonesia would have used that kind of similar approach. So if you've got sort of big ideas and thoughts about sort of growing a big, fast company, then understanding more about AI can help you do that.
And it's also useful for journalism for sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So I think that's for me.
Okay, so you mentioned that you work with corporations across many sectors, and which sector do they mostly come from? And like when we speak of Indonesia, which sector of businesses do you see the highest potential to work with Duco Digital Training?
It's really difficult. I can only really.
I think it's difficult because AI will affect everything.
Yeah.
There will be nothing left. AI will permeate every single sector. So it just depends upon the individual business owner as to their willingness to adopt this new technology. And I think it's important that businesses do adopt this new technology because their competitors are doing so already. So the quicker businesses adopt the new technology, the quicker they can move on. So we work with healthcare, we work with finance,
legal, banking, charities even as well, like non-government organisations, and then government level. It's very broad. Just because, like you said, AI is most sectors. So it really is everybody. Yeah, there's no one sort of main sector that. But
then the course is fairly broad. It introduces the concepts of AI, but then there's lots of independent study to focus specifically on the individual, on the learner's specific sector that they work in. So if they do work in healthcare, we then direct them to specific healthcare resources where they could learn more about that particular sector.
Yeah. That's from us.
Thank you
very much. Thank you. Terima kasih.